Alright, so now we are going to go over the unwritten rules of prison. Number one is to not rubberneck, right? And what rubbernecking is basically if you're walking down the hallway and someone's cell is open, you don't want to like just look into their room, right? You just want to keep your head straight and just keep walking because it's rude to look inside people's rooms. And if people catch you doing that, then they're going to get mad and probably want to fight you over it. Sometimes if they're nice about it, they'll just tell you, what the fuck are you looking at, right? Number two is to not whistle. Whistling is a big no-no. Not only is it annoying, but at the same time, it's something that the guards used to do right before an inmate was getting executed. So, out of tradition and courtesy to those inmates in the past, we don't whistle, right? It's just the common thing not to do. Number three is courtesy flush. The reason why you want a courtesy flush is that it prevents the smell from getting into the hallway, the range, if you want to call it that, right? And what courtesy flushing is basically whenever you take a dump, right, you flush the toilet right away. And then when you drop another deuce, you flush again. And you flush every time you drop a deuce. You don't want your shit to be sitting there fermenting inside the toilet bowl. You want to get rid of it right away because the idea behind this is that you flush down the smell with it. Because if you don't, it's going to stink up the whole range and people will get pretty angry at you. And if they find out that it's you who's causing the smell, then they're going to punch you out. Sometimes there are, false courtesy flushes, if I like to call it that, because sometimes before I used to walk down the range and I would just like let it rip, right? And people would just assume that someone didn't courtesy flush. So they would just be like, oh my God, courtesy flush, you sick fuck, right? They would just say that. But really, it was just me who farted down the hallway, just laughing my ass off. Anyways, number four, don't flush the toilet at night. The toilets, especially in Drumheller, and even when I was at the Edmonton Remand Center, they are very, very, very loud, right? So if you flush the toilet at night, you're going to wake everyone up. And if people find out that you're the one who flushed, then you will get punched up for it, okay? So I know some of us may have to shit at nighttime, right? And the last thing you want to do is shit. Like peeing is alright because it doesn't really smell that bad. But if you have to take a shit, then unfortunately you're going to have to deal with the smell and just find a way to cover it up. Most cells have like leftover cardboard from like people's pen packs. So you can just cover it like that. And if you don't have a cardboard in your cell, you could always grab like, I don't know, a blanket you don't use and just put it on top of it or something. Or if you can actually live with the smell, then just leave it open. Anyways, number five is be very quiet in the mornings. Inmates like to sleep in. They love sleeping in so much that they're willing to skip breakfast, which is crazy because when I was in Drumheller, I was hungry all the time. I never skipped a meal, ever, except on tuna casserole day because that tasted like asshole, okay? But yeah, if you're too loud in the morning, again, you will get punched out for it. I've seen people get black eyes for being loud in the mornings, right? Like they slam their door shut too loud or they weren't whispering when they should have been whispering. Number six is don't cut in line. This is one of the most common rules that you hear from the prison YouTube videos that you watch, right? And it will always be a rule to never cut in line. It doesn't matter if you see your buddy in the front, go to the back, wait your turn. Because if you decide to cut in line, you're going to piss off way more than one person. Number seven, if someone calls you a goof, you have to fight. I was told in Drumheller that goof meant get over fight. On TikTok, it's been disputed that it doesn't actually mean that. Apparently, it means pedophile. Maybe it means both. Maybe my generation, Gen Z, came up with get over fight. I don't know. But basically, if someone calls you a goof, you have no choice but to throw down. And if you don't throw down, you will lose respect from everyone inside the prison, even your current friends. So even if you think you're going to lose, just fight anyways, get your ass kicked, or win, because fights are really 50-50 anyways. All it takes is that one lucky shot to win a fight. Anyways, I think number 8, don't look into cells when they are closed, right? This should be obvious. It's like looking into someone's house when they're not home, you know? It's just weird and it's rude. So just stay away, because to look inside the cells in Drumheller, it's like a very small window, and it's very obvious when you're just doing this right into someone's room. And sometimes people close their cells because they're sleeping, they want a nap or some shit, or they're away from their cells. So if people see you peeking into someone's cell, then they're just gonna think that maybe you're a thief or you just like to snoop around, and that's just gonna piss a lot of people off. So avoid doing that. Number 9, don't chat with the guards for too long. The longer you chat with the guard, the more likely people are going to assume that you're a snitch, that you're their snitch, right? Don't get too friendly with the guards. It's okay to have small chat with them, but don't have long conversations. Keep it short, right? In the minimum prisons, when you get transferred, if you're like one of those good inmates like I was, then yeah, you can talk to the guards more often, because the environment's much different. The guards start treating you like you're a regular citizen again, right? In the medium, they don't really talk to you that much because they understand the culture and the nature of how inmates are, right? So keep the conversations very, very short. Number 10, don't challenge the guards. This should be obvious, right? Because the guards, they're the people who watch over you. They're basically your caretakers. And they're also the people that can abuse you the most while you're inside, right? Some people may think that they're tough shit or something, so they just stand up to the guards or whatever. And it never goes well, because the guards have so much power, they can do whatever they want to you, right? They can take you away from the cameras and beat you if they wanted to. They could set you up by spreading false rumors about you by saying, hey, you know, I saw this guy's report and he's a major sex offender, right? They could do that if they hate you enough. So just be careful. Don't act like a tough guy with the inmates, and especially with the guards, because you will have a horrible time. In fact, sometimes the guards may even get the inmates to beat you up for them, right? And inmates will gladly do it, because if they don't, then the rest of them will just get punished. So number 12, I think. Yeah. Ask people if they want your shoes off before you enter their cells. A lot of people like to clean their cells, right? Some people like to keep it clean. They treat their cells like it's their own house. So if you step into someone's cell who likes to keep their room super clean, they're going to get really mad at you. First time, they won't mind because, you know, you're new, you just came in, so they understand that you didn't know. So they'll be cool about it in the beginning. But after a while, they'll just be like, take off your fucking shoes, right? I was one of those guys. I didn't like people walking into my cell with their shoes on. I told them to take it off, leave it on the side, because, you know, I'm like that. And I'm pretty sure there are probably more rules, and I will probably throw it in the videos, in the sections if I can think of any more, but these are generally the most common and important rules for you to know while you're inside the federal institutions of Canada.